In 2005, Steve Jobs, the man who changed technology forever, stood before a crowd of graduates and delivered one of the most emotional speeches ever heard. He didn't talk about wealth. He didn't talk about power. He talked about life, connecting the dots. Today, I want to tell you 3 stories from my life. That's it. No big deal, just 3 stories. The first story is about connecting the dots. I dropped out of Reed College after the first 6 months, but then stayed around as a drop-in for another 18 months before I really quit. Why? Because my parents were spending their life savings on my education, and I couldn't see the value in it. It wasn't all romantic, but I loved it. Because I got to drop in on the classes that truly fascinated me, like calligraphy. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the spacing between letters. It was beautiful, artistically subtle. 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. The audience laughed softly. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. Every hardship, every delay, every detour, it all means something later. Trust the process. The dots will connect. I was lucky. I found what I loved to do early in life. Woz and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. In 10 years, Apple grew from just the 2 of us into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. And then I got fired. Audience laughs awkwardly. How can you get fired from a company you started? Well, as Apple grew, we hired someone who I thought was very talented to run the company with me. For the first year, things went well. Then our visions for the future began to diverge, and eventually the board sided with him. So at 30, I was out. Very publicly out. What had been the focus of my entire adult life was gone. I felt like I'd dropped the baton and failed the previous generation of entrepreneurs. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did, and so I decided to start over. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. During the next 5 years, I started Next and another company named Pixar. Pixar went on to create the world's first computer-animated feature film, Toy Story, and is now the most successful animation studio on the planet. And in a remarkable turn of events, Apple bought Next. I returned to Apple. The technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for your work as it is for your lovers. When everything falls apart, love is what holds you together. The people who keep going aren't lucky. They're in love with what they do. When I was 17, I read a quote that went something like this: "If you live each day as if it were your last, someday you'll most certainly be right." It made an impression on me, and since then, for the past 33 years, I have looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. Doctors told me it was almost certainly incurable. My doctor told me to get my affairs in order. Code for prepare to die. I lived with that diagnosis all day. Later that evening, they did a biopsy, and it turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer that was curable with surgery. I had the surgery, and thankfully, I'm fine now. Pause. No one wants to die. Even people who want to go to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet, death is the destination we all share. No one has ever escaped it. Death is very likely the single best invention of life. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. Right now, the new is you. But someday, not too long from now, you will gradually become the old and be cleared away. Sorry to be so dramatic, but it's true. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog. It was like Google in paperback form, 35 years before Google came along. On the back cover of their final issue were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." I've always wished that for myself. And now, as you graduate to begin anew, I wish that for you. He didn't talk about profits or products. He talked about love, courage, and death, the three things that define what it means to be human. And in doing so, Steve Jobs gave the world not just technology, but timeless truth. Stay hungry, stay foolish.